Please welcome comedian Pete Dominick.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. How are you? Oh, my gosh. I am the last thing standing between you and the bar. I don't know if it feels like it's been long or not, but when you're with friends and you want to have a good time, you're ready. So I'll be right there with you. Thank you very much for having me. First of all, I always feel, Andrew, would you? There he is. I'm going to address you for a moment. Hey, Vernell. Hey, everybody. Hi. Were you here when his parents talked about him? He said you shared a pacifier with your brother, and then they moved on. His mom said, fast forward to 8th grade. I was like, no. Hell no. The hell kind of shop are the spars running over there? What is this little boy doing with his pacifier? Did they not have germs? What kind of weird negotiation? Andrew and I just want to get, also, who produced this run of show tonight? They said, I'm going to go after those students? What the what? No one's following them. Their ghosts are still up here. Even Fed was like, why am I here? Those young people were the most inspiring people I think I've ever met. And I'm like, no, stop it. Because I'm only thinking about me. I'm like, I'm next. I know I'm not that good. That was amazing. Wherever those young kids are, you are the change we have been waiting for, man. That was something. And I have about 20 more minutes on my friend Andrew Spar, but I have to say that I travel around the country working with all kinds of different organizations, nonprofits, things I believe in only, exclusively. And I have to say how much great leadership matters and how rare it can be. But that man and his ability to lead this organization in this state, I call you educators like the Navy SEALs of educators, the Avengers, the Wakandans, however you want to identify, it's you. You're on the front lines. You are the tip of the spear. Whatever bullshit happens in Florida comes to us eventually, but you have to deal with it first. And you, sir, are a born leader since you took your brother's pacifier, whatever weird shit you did. Whatever it took to make you who you are. And I want to say something else to these two other leaders who you are mostly familiar with, I'm sure. First of all, Carla Matz Fernandez, who is about as good as it gets. I remember when I first met her and I was like, who is this woman? She is amazing. Powerful and intimidating. Looking down at her, scared as hell. I'm like, please tell me what to do. And when I found out that Charlie Crist had chosen her to be his running mate, I found out just through the news. I looked at my phone. I was like, what? Carla? Oh, that is an amazing idea. And then to watch her throughout that campaign was so inspiring. I hope you were inspired by her because that is not easy to put your name on that list, especially as a woman, especially as a Hispanic woman. The kind of shit that she and her family had to deal with is a nightmare. So, and today I got like 10 minutes to be in her light and it made my day. So another amazing leader. And finally, I just want to highlight Fed, who everybody knows. He moved up to the show. Of course, and meeting Fed Ingram, I think it was like 2016. Someone told me tonight. I have my phone because I have notes on it, by the way, in case you're wondering why I can't separate myself. But Fed was president then, United Teachers of Dade. They're very rambunctious, those people from South Florida. And Fed introduced me. I hadn't really met. I met him briefly, and then he introduced me. Where is he? Where's Fed? There he is. And so I always try to razz whoever it is, especially when you're like a figure of authority. I like to speak truth to power. In this case, it was Fed Ingram. So he brings me up, and I went right up to the microphone. I begin, and I say, first of all, just real quick, what kind of name is Fed? I said, where is the R? What are you doing to us? It's very confusing. It's Fed. I go, I want to talk to your parents. I said that. And Fed goes, my mother is right there. This was one of the most amazing moments of my career, because I'm sitting here talking about someone's parents. He goes, my mother is right there. So I walked off the stage with the microphone, and I put it in front of her, and I said, explain yourself, thinking somehow that I was going to be getting over on her too. And she just stoically, straight up, she goes, I named my son after a civil rights leader. And I was just like, I'll go. The whole place just dying laughing in my face. And sadly, we lost Fed's mom this year. And she was a legend and so important, and it has not been an easy time for him or his family. And so I want to say her name, Susie Ingram, rest in peace, rest in power. May your memory be a blessing. I just do not like how big my awful head. I'm sorry. There's been one white bald guy up here, and then you bring another one up, and you don't know our struggle. Sure, we still have all the opportunity and privileges in life, but I didn't have a hat today. I couldn't even go outside. See a black bald guy, you're like, oh, that guy looks handsome. You see a white bald guy, you're like, I think he's sick. Look at it. Look at it. You can see, if a black bald guy, you can't see all the, like the bumps and look at the fucking moon. Look at it. Look at it. It's horrendous. It is. I'll do the rest of it like this. Folks, we're here. Oh my God, no. Who is on that camera, motherfucker? I was in denial about losing my hair. You really want to know what you look like to other people? Have a child draw you. Kids are the worst. Find your most insecure quality and just draw the hell out of it. Look at my forehead. I used to be Catholic. I can't go to Ash Wednesday anymore. Look at this thing. It's terrible. How am I following these kids? By the way, what is with the tardiness? Can we help them? If I heard the word tardy come up one more time. I come here to Florida. I think this might be, I don't know how many times I've been down here to be with you, because I learn from you and I'm inspired by you, and I take it back to the rest of the country. And I want you guys to know that the rest of us are watching, and we are thanking what you have to put up with in this state. It is horrendous, the kind of shit that you've had to deal with here. The banning of African American what is happening? The answer, however, is you. And that's why I'm so excited to be down here with y'all, because as Andrew said, my mom was a public school teacher for over 20 years. And I understand to a certain extent how hard it was, because I'd watch her every night. She's correcting her papers, and every day going to city schools of Syracuse, New York. It was never easy. And underprivileged, marginalized communities. And I was living in a pretty privileged situation. And as you know, you give so much to your students. You take money out of your pocket for supplies. You do everything you can for them. My mom is 79 years old. She still goes out to lunch with kids that were in her classroom. She still talks about kids that are in her classroom. If you want to know about kids in her classroom, just say hi. She'll tell you. And I come here to tell you, on behalf of parents across the country, thank you. Thank you for what you do, because we can't do it. We can't do it. Nothing infuriates me more than hearing teachers and educators and any adult that is in a building with children being slandered or being said that your job is easy or that someone said you're a glorified babysitter. What? I say to all those people, spend a day in an educator's shoe, one day. You know what? Shit. Spend half an hour. I tried. I did. I tried. My daughter was in 4th grade, I think, and I went to volunteer to give some lesson on environmentalism or something. I don't know. I walked into the 4th grade class, and all the kids were looking at me, and I had them wrapped for 30 seconds. And this kid starts running his mouth, and I'm a comedian. You're not paying attention to me, I'm noticing that. But I don't know how to address these kids. I don't know how to talk to kids their age. So the first time, I figured, I was like, excuse me, hey, buddy, what's your name? He goes, Seth. Oh, hey, Seth, I'm almost done, and then you could do the activity, and you guys can all talk. Just hold on. Okay. I go back to the directions. 10 seconds later, this kid is yapping again. I was like, Seth, right? Gonna need you to just quiet down, buddy. Almost done, Seth, like 2 more minutes if you could just hang on. He's like, eh. I go back to talking. This kid starts up again, and Seth, I will duct tape your face shut and waterboard you in front of your family. How about that? How about that, Seth? Shut up, Seth. And they brought me out of the school, and I was not allowed to return to the school for very long. Seth sought help. This kid, how are these parents telling you how to do your job? These parents, they're talking about parental rights. What about our parental rights? What? You have all the parental rights? You don't even know your kids' teachers' names half the time. Where's my parental right? How about you contact your teacher? That's your right. How about you reach out and volunteer? How about you join the PTA? How about you get involved? All of a sudden you want parental rights? So you can take away books? These people, listen, I've been talking to teachers and educators for over 15 years. I've been talking about public education for as long as I've been doing media. And for as long as I've been doing media, public education has always been under attack. They've always wanted to privatize public education so they can take the money and put it in their pockets. Some things you can privatize, and having a competitive element is good. Not in education. You don't make schools compete for dollars. You don't make students compete to learn. Teachers compete to beat each other out for some hollow prize that's never going to be won. Betsy DeVos and all this. No, hell no. That's not how it's supposed to be. But it's only gotten scarier and crazier and worse. Like it is, some days you wake up and you look at the news or you just see what's happening in your school or what's happening in the state house and you go, how is this in any way possible that this is what we are dealing with right now? How is this possibly happening? You're trying to ban books? What? I thought that was over. Trying to ban, and these people are talking about, and you know who I mean, these people. Moms from Liberty, what? There's no liberty in what you're doing. Get the hell out of here. Talking about banning books, talking about that we're teaching children sex in school. Now, I don't really care what you think about that, folks. What I do know is I am a boy who grew up in this country, and when they're talking about they're teaching kids sex in 8th grade, I'm like, we knew already. What on earth are you talking about? They said, I'm sorry to get graphic here, but I'm very involved in my local school, and I'll tell you why and what's happened. But they said, you are teaching anal sex. I was like, no. But I'll tell you this, we already know about it. When I was in 8th grade, all we talked about was butts, making fun of our buddies. We know what it is. School is supposed to teach you how to be responsible with it all, and they do. This stuff that they make it up all the time. They just make it up. It's big lie after big lie after big lie, trying to obfuscate and trying to, even worse, make victims the aggressors. That's always been the playbook. And I'm going to depart from the comedy for a moment here and tell you that 2 years ago, something happened to me that has made me even more ferocious and more inspired. But as long as I've been talking to teachers and working with teachers and supporting teachers, it's always been this thing where I pop down here to Florida or wherever I'm going to be, and then I go back to New York State, where we have a great, robust public education. By all means, it's still always under attack by the privatizers. But go back, and we don't have to worry as much about some of the things that you have to worry about here. But 2 years ago, everything changed in my town, and I couldn't fly out of it. I realized at that moment that I had to be the change that I wanted to see. And I realized in that moment, I think Dr. King's most important quotes to me that people always want to quote, the I Have a Dream speech, they always want to talk about. Someday, I hope my kids will be judged not by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. Those are great. Those feel nice. Those are great things Dr. King said. But when they came to my town, or when my town came after a specific young black woman in our high school, and no one was really doing anything, the quotes I thought, because I was a student of civil rights, were these ones that Dr. King said. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people. And I'm talking to my white brothers and sisters on this one. It is easy to look the other way. It is easy to do nothing. It is easy to do nothing. But I could not live with myself if I did nothing in that situation. And so the situation they created was a big lie. You can go on Facebook all over America now and you can just say something happened in your town, even if it didn't happen. They posted a video of a young black girl fighting a young white girl. And they wrote around the video, the post, which is, first of all, you can't post young people fighting. You should never do that. But they posted around it, and they said, they literally created a narrative out of nothing. And they said that the black girl attacked the white girl because she was a Trump supporter. Okay? Now, you know, if you know black folks, that if there's not a lot of black folks in the school, they're not trying to attract any smoke. So I knew right away, that's not what happened. That isn't what happened. So nobody was doing anything. Nobody was saying anything. This family was getting just terrorized, the comments, the things that were being said. So I found out who that girl was. I reached out through my own daughter, and I found that girl, and I found her mom, and I built trust, and I hooked them up with the NAACP, and I advocated for them, and they had a local news reporter come in, and that local news NBC reporter was gonna go on TV and say that a black girl attacked a white girl because of her politics. It's not what happened. I got the police report, I got the school report to show that the white girl attacked the black girl. I got that report, I killed that story. That story got killed. And hold on. I do this not for your validation, I do this to tell you what happened next. The night after I threatened that reporter's entire career and livelihood, as she went to air with that story, I got a knock on my door at 9 p.m. on a Monday night. It was Child Protection Services. They had to come and do a welfare check on my 15 and 17-year-old daughters. We have a report that there's sexual abuse in this house. Next day, I had to wake up my daughters to see this woman from CPS, and they're like, "What happened? Who are you?" "We're good." "What the fuck?" The next day, I had 2 detectives with pistols in my living room there to interview my daughters, about their relationship with their father, me. It was the lowest point of my life, which means, things have been good, but that was a horrendous moment in my life. I couldn't believe this was happening. But here's the thing. It was a moment where I got to see my daughter, who I'd raised to be an independent, confident young woman, saved me. She saved me. The officer said to her, I was in the other room, they're like, you have to go in the other room. I was like, in my own house? He's like, sorry, sir. So I just left my phone recording on the countertop, just. I heard my 17-year-old daughter say, they said, Miss, I'm so sorry, we just have a couple questions, we won't be long. And she didn't even sit down. She said, before you ask me anything, I want you to know the reason why you are here. The reason you are here is because my dad is such a good guy. That's why you're here, because my dad's an advocate for marginalized communities. Because my dad is my idol. That's why you're here. They want to silence him because he's been effective. That's why you're here. Now, what are your questions? And to their credit, the officer said, we had no questions. We're good. They knew it was a false accusation. They knew it was anonymous. They knew it was a false accusation. I don't tell that story to be virtuous or for your validation. I certainly don't tell you that story to make you be afraid of being involved. I tell you that story because this shit is real. And I am a white man, and they're doing it to me. It is at my doorstep in my home. And so when I think about the fight that you are in and the fight that we all are in, I look at you and I say, thank you. You people, teachers, educators, are the ones that we have been waiting for. Without the work that you do day in and day out, we're going to have to continue to deal with this onslaught of ridiculousness. And that's criminality. That's a crime they committed against our family. That's a crime. You cannot do that. You cannot call in a false accusation. But they did it because they wanted to silence me. And I would rather die than shut up. Every day of the week. And by the way, we're in Florida. Where are my Haitian folks? There they are. And some lady over there yelling in Creole, I think. It's not, is that right? I love the Haitian people. All right, recognize you. Just want to recognize you. You are the most amazing people. Yeah. I worked with that. I didn't know any Haitian people, and then I got my internship in college at Disney World at Epcot Center, and I worked fast food, and I worked with this Haitian guy that was like 20 years older than me, and he had a thick accent. He was the best. He was like, he worked so hard, and he was so much fun. We always had fun together, but with his accent, he pronounced my name, Pete, beach. He'd be like, beach, we mean more ice cream. I'd be like, Beach, we need more sauce in here. Hurry, Beach. Beach, get in there. We're running out, Beach. I was like, yes, sir. I'd give anything to meet up with that guy today. He was the greatest. What has been said about Haitian folks, what has been said, the racism, the bigotry, the sexism, the misogyny, it never stops until we stop it, until we stand up, until you do what you do each and every day, until they walk a day in your shoes. I feel like an imposter in this room. I always feel like an imposter in this room, but it is such a privilege to be in this room. And I will leave you on my favorite quote, the quote that inspires me all the time. I say I feel like I'm an imposter because I was doing a national radio show. I'd interviewed just about everybody, senators, journalists, you name it, celebrities, all kinds of celebrities. But I always felt like, how did I get here? And then I had the opportunity to sit down with Congressman John Lewis in the most important moment of my career. And when I went back to my therapist, yes, and she's like, have you tried other hair loss pills? I go, no! She said, I told her about interviewing John Lewis, and she said, that's it. You're off the bench. You made it. Interviewing John Lewis was the best thing I did, and I'll probably never get better, but this is my favorite quote, and this is what I live by, and this is why I'm here, and this is why I will keep doing what I'm doing, and follow you, all of you, wherever you go, and supporting you, whatever you do. John Lewis said, do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It's the struggle of a lifetime. Never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble. Necessary trouble. Good trouble. Necessary trouble. Good trouble. Necessary trouble. And the last thing I want to say is I really like our vice president. And I really want her to be the president. And I really just want to quote her and ask you. You say hell no. If you, I say this and you say hell no. Are we going back? Are we going back? Are we going back? Huh, Miami-Dade? Are we going back? Huh, Volusia? Or however it's pronounced? Are we going back? Are we going to the bar? You guys keep up the amazing work. You inspire the rest of the country. You inspire the rest of the country. Thank you.